right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go ahead and proceed with the evidence. Mr. Goff.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Agent Seacrist.
Good afternoon.
Do I recall correctly that it was you who called Roddy Bryan
When?
initially? You reached out to Mr. Bryan.
I did. I knocked on his door.
It wasn't Mr. Bryan looking for the spotlight.
That's correct.
And is it fair to say at this point that you needed his cooperation?
I desired his cooperation, yes.
Okay. You wanted it. You wanted his cooperation.
Sure.
And that's because under Georgia law, witnesses are not required to talk to you.
No one is required to talk to me.
Because you are not a federal agent.
I'm sorry?
You're not a federal agent. You're a GBI agent.
That's correct.
And you don't have the power to compel witnesses to speak to you.
That's correct.
So they do it voluntarily.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bryan had already given several statements to the Glenn County Police Department, had he not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he'd already given the Glenn County Police Department his cell phone several times. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But the first thing that you need to do is you need to secure his cell phone again. That's your first mission, is to secure his cell phone.
My first mission?
Yes, sir. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this now famous video, wasn't there?
Controversy. I don't know about controversy as far as the video. There was... People did not like what the video showed, for sure.
For sure. And there was a lot of speculation out there about the video.
And I'm going to object to any speculation, Judge.
Oh, I'm not asking him to provide details. I'm just asking whether he'll acknowledge that there was a need for the GBI to obtain that cell phone.
Go ahead.
Was there a need?
Yes, sir.
There was.
Okay. In fact, as it turned out, there was another important video in this case, or set of videos, were there not?
If you're referring to the videos at his house, yes, sir.
The Night Owl videos.
That's correct.
Somehow, in their exhaustive investigation, the Glenn County Police Department, for whatever reason, did not obtain those videos.
That's correct.
And you were unaware of the existence of those videos until Mr. Roddy Bryan brought them to your attention.
Yes, sir.
Now, directing your attention to May 11th, did you tell Roddy Bryan that the past week had probably been one of the worst of his life?
Yes, sir.
And he agreed with you?
That's correct.
I believe you've already testified that the McMichael defendants had been arrested.
That's correct.
The GBI director, Vic Reynolds, had given a press conference, and your agency...
And I'm going to object to anything from the press conference, Judge. That's hearsay.
I have no intention of going into the contents of the press conference. But your boss, former Cobb County DA Vic Reynolds, at that time GBI director, had actually given a press conference in this case.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
You were physically present when he did so.
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. And whether you were present, you were aware that there was a press release.
Yeah, I'm aware there were press releases going on.
And when you were speaking with Mr. Bryan, what you described as media and quote-unquote other entities were blowing the situation up even more.
Objection to relevance, Your Honor, in terms of the relevance of what Agent Seacrist thought about the media.
Based on the conversations we had yesterday outside the presence of the jury, I thought the import of this line of questioning was clear.
If you're asking the court that, no.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm at the court's direction, but the circumstances surrounding under which statements are made is relevant to their admissibility.
Okay. So ask your question again.
Did you describe when you spoke with Mr. Bryan the media and quote-unquote other entities quote-unquote blowing it up even more? Directing your attention to page 12 of the transcript.
And Judge, I'll renew my objection.
Yeah, let's see where this is going. Go ahead.
Page
Refresh
12.
your memory to look at page 12 of the
Yes,
transcript.
sir. On which transcript?
The 511.
Okay.
And at any point in time, if you're not sure what I'm asking you about, don't hesitate to let me know.
Thank you. Yes, that's correct.
All right. And you noted that the media was already parked out front of Mr. Bryan's residence when you first attempted to make contact with him.
Your Honor, again, relevance.
Yeah, look, go ahead.
Yes, the media was there.
And that media craze only got worse in the days to follow.
The media was present.
Okay. And again on 5/13, 2 days later, when you speak with Mr. Bryan again, you acknowledge that the past 2 days have been, quote, difficult for Mr. Bryan, unquote,
Yes, sir.
because there's even more media now.
Is that a quote?
I don't think that's a quote, but there were more media.
I'm sorry, you're asking me a question?
I'll move on. You discussed with Mr. Bryan the march through his neighborhood. Page 139 on your 513 transcript.
I do recall that.
You sympathize with unusual activity in the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
You've previously agreed that in the context of this interview in May of 2020, that this was a neighborhood on edge.
That's correct.
And by this time, Mr. Bryan fears for his own personal safety and that of his
Objection
family.
to speculation.
Directing your attention to page 142 of what I believe is the JVD transcript.